Hi, you are listening to Karl-Mikael Sidding's AI Alter Ego. This podcast is created based on my own writings, primarily from Substack. Spreadzer AI focuses on investments in mental, physical, and financial health. You can actually read the podcast content too on my Substack if you're a premium member. If you're interested in more in-depth investing skills, you should check out theinvestingcourse.com. It's a 6-week online course where I teach how to find, analyze, invest, and evaluate publicly listed stocks. Now let's dive into today's podcast. You don't have to be invested in stocks. There are always alternatives. If you choose to buy a stock, it should have one very clear reason, as should every decision you make. I use the following 5 steps when considering a stock. The real research comes later. 1. Why am I interested? 2. Why still hold off? 3. Why buy anyway despite the counter-arguments? 4. Why say no anyway? And finally, 5. Why do I go ahead despite all of the above? What makes me think I have an edge and much better prospects of making money in this stock than in any other asset class or investment, or just holding cash? Here's an example. Step 1. Why am I interested at all? The junior Canadian gold company Canagold, also known as CCM, has around 100 times as much proven, easily accessible low-cost gold in the ground as its market cap. That ratio is at least 100 times. Of course, it's not worth 100 times right now, but the huge amount of gold in the ground is tempting. Annual profits at the prevailing gold price of $2,000, according to the company's plans, should exceed 4 times the entire current market cap, which was $24 million on January 3, 2024. Higher gold prices will increase that number significantly. Going from a price-to-earnings ratio of 0.25 to 5 means a 20 times return, and a PE of 5 is pretty typical in the mining industry. If gold moves 50% higher to $3,000 per ounce, profits should roughly double, so the returns could reach 40 times your investment to get to a PE of 5. $4,000 gold would mean 80 times your investment, although this is before any dilution or additional debt required to construct the mine. Step 2. Why should I nevertheless refrain from buying? They don't have the required permits to mine the gold. No permits means no gold, only costs. The mine would be on land utilized by indigenous people who control the permitting process. After 30 years with no progress, why would anything change now? Step 3. Why am I still interested? New owners are clearly moving things forward decisively after 30 years of operational neglect and share dilution. There is a new Chief Executive Officer, Chief Technology Officer, Chief Operating Officer, and Board. It's a completely new company with a credible and ambitious plan. Talks and pre-agreements with the inhabitants make a permit quite likely. There will be a vote in about half a year, around midsummer 2024. At the same time, the ongoing feasibility study is finished, which should accelerate the permitting. Once the locals approve Canagold's plans, it's very unlikely the authorities will decline a mine application. The Canagold project is an underground mine, not an open pit that would disrupt the daily life of local inhabitants and their animals. Revenue sharing with the indigenous people is mandatory and generous, giving locals a strong incentive to approve. The mine would also provide jobs for the locals and boost the local economy. Step 4. Why should I still avoid the stock? The share price has been declining for 30 years. Why should that end now? There are no roads and the climate is extremely cold in northern Canada, so expensive delays are likely. It could take another year or 2 before construction can begin if the summer happens to be too cold. Political and permitting risk plus a vote among inhabitants of the mine area are all outside the company's control. It could be boom or bust. Even if everything goes smoothly with the vote, the permitting and the weather, building the mine is still years away, and producing the actual gold is even further out. Step 5. Why am I buying the stock anyway? The upside to a valuation of 5 times profits in 5 years is a 20 times return, or maybe 10 times adjusted for debt and dilution. That covers a lot of risk. If gold doubles to $4,000, profits quadruple, and the diluted stock returns could explode to 40 times. The new owners and management clearly have a plan and have made substantial progress toward making it happen. Key people controlling the vote and permitting process have expressed their support. One statement is that First Nation is leading the way with mining company relationships, and consent agreements are beginning with their nation and their people. The timing looks good in the first half of 2024. News flow is likely to be supportive over the next 6 to 18 months, and a strong gold price would add even more fuel to the fire. The share price could potentially double every year for 4 years to reach around 15 times, right about when the first gold comes out of the ground, proving the case. The timeline might look like follows. The feasibility study should clearly demonstrate the project's net present value. A positive vote is expected by summer 2024. Then progress in the permitting process by the end of 2024 could lead to a final yes by early 2025. Construction might start as soon as summer 2025 if everything goes smoothly, but summer of 2026 or 2027 is more probable. I personally expect the first significant gold production in 2028, which is only about 4 or 5 years from now. Also, note that I know more than I let on in this episode. This is Karl-Mikael Siddings AI signing off. See you again in a few days. Don't forget to check out theinvestingcourse.com. Read some of the raving reviews there and join the waiting list for the next cohort. Standing in line is free. I've had 0 complaints on the course and about 1,000 out of 1,000 satisfied participants, even if some at first have thought that the fee's a bit steep. $1,000 is a price only people serious about their money are ready to pay for leveling up their investing skills. Everybody felt they got their money's worth several times over after the course. Links in the show notes. Investing in yourself, including your finances, is about enabling as durably meaningful a life as possible. Spreadzer AI focuses on investments in mental, physical, and financial health. Topics range from pure investment cases, which of course should never be considered financial advice, to my experiences and advice on training, nutrition, and sleep. In between, I talk about consciousness, meaning, free will, politics, science, psychedelics, perspective, and meaning, and whatever I think can help make you become happy, productive, fulfilled, basically realize your full potential, or bliss out on purely hedonistic pursuits. TIC, theinvestingcourse.com, meaning myself, is sponsoring this podcast. It's a 6-week online course where I teach how to find, analyze, invest, and evaluate publicly listed stocks. There is a Swedish version as well. The links are in the show notes.